Hi, this is Madmaxed again with a raid video. And this is the one about Skinwalker and the faction wars. And if you would, please hit that little red subscribe button in the corner. If you got any questions or any comments, just leave them. I'll try to get back to you. I'm not going to run the faction war. It takes way too long. It works about half the time. It's about a 30-minute run. I had to manual it. I did not. This was the very last faction that I had to get through. I haven't went back. I haven't upped these guys where they need to be upped. I haven't finished them out. I mean, they need mastery. They need more books and all that. But I did use these guys to get through. Okay, so just realize that these are the guys I use. So, all right. So the faction Skinwalker, it was the very last one I needed. As you see, I've got it all 3-star. Now, for 19 and 20, I was 1-starring either 19 or 20, and I couldn't get it to 3-star until I made a Gnawhorn. Now, I got a Gnawhorn to 60. Gnawhorn does that provoke. And so it made it where, the Valkyries didn't get up they didn't get up the attacks and stuff because, they're under the provoke. And I used him for that. I didn't do his masteries. I didn't have him skills. I didn't have all his books skilled out. Now, he goes through and he does that. He places unkillable on himself for 2 turns, but he's got that. He places a provoke debuff on all enemies for 1 turn, places a 30% increased defense buff on this champion for 2 turns. Now, he's got a little bit over 2,000 with that 60% increase of that. That's 3,200 defense. And for a rare, that's not bad. And he's got 5,400 and a half hit points, which is a lot of hit points for him. I tried to make him as tanky as possible. And if you'll notice, he's got false gear on. Well, the idea is, he's got 2 sets. It gives him about a 30% chance of freezing somebody. So as those Valkyries come up and hit him, what they're doing is there's a good chance they're going to get froze for 1 turn. All that really helps. His accuracy is at 218. He's not there to hit hard. He's there to sit down and keep that provoke up because they're slower. When you get up to 206, you're usually going about 2 times to their 1. So by the time you go about 2 times to their 1, and they're having a hit with that provoke 1 time, you're usually going to get that provoke up again. And he can keep everything on him and away from sitting down and getting the shields up and getting those counters up that the Valkyries do. That's the reason you need him at least for 19 and 20. And I did not use him for the boss at the end, but I did use him for 19 and 20, so be aware of that. Now, if you look at the team, and I'd gotten through the final boss, and I 3-starred the final boss, but I did not have but 1 star. It was either 19 or 20, I forget, and I had all the Valkyries. I think 19. 19 is, I think, the hardest one. And so 19 I didn't have, and I got him to 60, and I already had him at 50, so I got him up. And when I did, he provoked everything, and he kept everything off from me. And I was able to 3-star that. But like the boss, it's a long, long run. Now what I used was not him for that. I used all of these, plus I used that other Ryan Beast. Ryan Beast is really good about keeping your teams alive. Now I wish that other Ryan Beast was at I wish that other Ryan Beast was at 62, but it wasn't. But it would have made it much, much easier. I used Hostfer, the Tusk, and if you look, he's got almost 5,200, almost 7,200 hit points. He is HP based. He's got, 2,100 worth of defense. He doesn't have a high crit rate. His speed isn't even very fast. He's got fairly good crit damage. He's got, 162 on the accuracy. The only thing he's got as far as a debuff is that stun. That stun helps, but it's only even after he's booked out, only 30% chance for 2 hits. So it's only about a 50% chance he's going to stun something with that A1. Now, he places that increased attack, that increased crit rate on everybody else, and he revives everybody, and then he gets that. He revives 2 random allies, and he puts the strength on them. That helps. And, this is your reviver. You always need a reviver in all these factions, just about if you can get one. Ryan Bees, I didn't, like I said, this was the very last faction. I just threw them together. I leveled them up as quick as possible. And I didn't even book them. I didn't do their mastery. They didn't do anything hardly. I just threw some halfway decent gear on it, just trying to get through this. And it worked. So this guy is really good and he would be a lot better if I booked him out because he attacks one enemy, places a 15% continuous heal buff on the ally with the lowest hit points. He also comes in, he attacks one enemy 2 times, he revives a random ally if he kills somebody with this attack. His attack is really pretty strong. It'd be a lot stronger if I had him booked out another 20%. When an ally is attacked, he faces a shield buff equal to 35% of this champ's max HP. Well, it's another 30%, so it's 65% of his HP when you book him out. And you're talking about 4,100, so he's got 65% of that. That's 26,000 point worth of shield. That's a huge, huge shield. You have 2 of these guys at 60, and every time they're throwing up anything, he's throwing these shields up. Plus, he can revive. Plus, he does all these heals. He can be a monster as far as trying to, as far as keeping your team alive. And I'll probably in the next little bit, probably the next CVC, I'll probably get these things booked out just so I can make that one a lot quicker and a lot easier to go through because it's not fast, it's slow. Like I said, it only works about half the time. You look at him, he's not booked out. Most of his masters are not done. But this is what I use too. He's not even at 60. But these 2 got together and they were able to go through and finish. So I had basically 3 revivers because both those Ryan Beasts can revive, so can Host Fair. So I had Fayin. Fayin used to be in my Clan Balls team. Fayin is really good. She hits really hard. She does that weaken. And when you get a 1-on-1, when she does that weaken and that decreased defense, she doubles everybody else's damage. And then she goes in and she does that poison. She does that decreased attack. Then she has a 35%, a 50% chance of he attacks twice, knocking down the turn meter by 5%. She does have her masteries done. She's maxed out. She's actually on the defensive part because I just try to keep her alive because of all those really great debuffs that she does. And she is one of the best debuffers, in the game for Clan Balls. I've got a video about her in Clan Balls. She is absolutely an excellent Clan Balls. But guys, those are the ones that I used. And, when I ran through it, I got through. I barely got through, but I got through the thing with this set. Like I said, I had Cleopatra too. That was the only legendary champ. And I don't remember she came out of the clan shop. I don't think she came out of the clan shop. I think she is one of the login champs that you get. So it's been so long since I've had her. But anyway, she is not booked out. As everybody knows, she doesn't have her masteries completely done. But as everybody knows, legendary books. And I don't use her a lot. She's not one of my main champs that I use right now. But like if I had better, she's got 82% crit rate and she's got 208 crit damage. With a little bit better of some gear, and she needs more accuracy because her skills are really fairly good. She places Fear and Hex. So she places a 50% increased attack buff on all, accuracy buff on all champions for 2 turns. Then she had, if you book her out, she's on a 4-turn cooldown, she has a 100% chance of placing a Hex buff for 3 turns. She has a 100% chance of placing a Fear debuff for 1 turn instead if the enemies are under a Hex. So if you've got somebody else in the team that hexes, she's going to fear them when she throws this. Now, if they're hexed, she's going to sit down and block the active skills for 2 turns. And that can be incredibly useful. When they're just doing their A1s, that makes a huge difference. And she does crit rate, crit damage. Both of these skills hit really hard. Her A1 hits okay. It does the weaken. It has a 50% chance for 2 turns and increases to a 50% chance if it's under a hex. So if it's under a hex, it's a 70% chance. So she's a good champion. I mean, she can be a really good hard hitting champion if you can book her out, get her masteries done, all that. But that's basically what I used. I didn't really have great champions for this. I mean, when you look in here, there are much better champions for this. Like Ganache, if I had him, he would automatically go to 6-star. He'd automatically get my books and stuff. He is a monster of an attacker. He can just wipe anything out because he throws those bombs. He does the cooldowns on them and they explode, and it just kills everything. Baracus, he's really a great champion. He's one of the hardest hitting champions it is. And then you have Mighty Hugo. I don't have him. He is a really good reviver, really good healer. He also hits really good. I mean, he's a really good hitter and he's an AOE attacker. So there are much better champions in this faction. I mean, you look at this guy. He is one of the hardest hitting champions it is. Tasami, he is really good. And and you've got Leonardo's. He's great, and the lower his hit points get, the harder he hits. And then he puts that unkillable on himself. So if anybody attacks him, does a lot of damage to him, he basically puts an unkillable on himself. And then when he hits, he just wipes everything. He's really good. And there's a lot better champs than what I had. I didn't have those really good champs. I didn't even have the void epics. I mean, I had almost, I looked at this and I was like, these are probably not going to get through. But they did anyway, and I was glad for it. But like the bears are not really considered to be good. And but the Rhine beasts, I was really happy with them. They really paid off really well. They help you a lot. But guys, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe to the channel. I hope this helps you with the faction war. I hope you get through because Lydia is a great champion.